Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, what would I do without you guys? It has been the week from hell. I mean, the week from hell. What's happening, Daniel? Isaac, Bill B, Ataris, Sandman. Sandman, dude, you emailed me a great story that I wanted to use, and then it disappeared. And I've been trying to email you back, but I can't get you. Send that to me again, please. Um, Boomer Sooner, Lee Mack, Joe, Capital City Music Man, Jackie Smith. How you doing, Jackie? You have been so faithful. Jamaris White, what's happening, Jamaris? Benjamin Martinez, Dallas Kane, Anthony Jennings, Chaz Jewell, everybody, thank you guys so much for being here. After this week, it has been a rough week, I think. Damn. Joe Boo's going to need a refill of a bottle. It's been that kind of week here for the Dallas Cowboys. It was bad enough that we had to lose that game to I'm going to steal some of Joe Boo's rum. In fact, I think I'm going to finish off the bottle for you, Joe Boo. You're just out of luck, buddy, because you definitely need a refill bottle. It was definitely an ugly, ugly week. I don't know how it could have gotten much worse after losing to Green Bay and then basically Jerry Jones pissing off his players. But do you guys, God, I don't know how football got to be a wedge at you. Football used to be the sanctuary where everybody could come together and agree or disagree about football games. But now it's literally division. And it's sad. It really is sad. But do you find it almost ironic that Jerry Jones is now speaking out about injustice? That Jerry Jones is saying he's not treated fair? That he's going to the media and saying, this is not right, that the evidence isn't there, the NFL is overstepping their bounds? Does anybody else see an irony there? Pot, meet kettle. Because Jerry Jones, said, my team is going to be standing regardless. I've had this rule. If you don't stand, you won't play. And didn't the NFL basically say, Zeke Elliott, you're not going to play? Kind of ironic, don't you think? Yeah, Albert, thank you. I hope everybody has a great weekend, too. We've got a weekend off, so we can't lose. Thank God. So, let's get right to some of your guys' questions and some of the thoughts. Navarro Bowman has been released by San Francisco. They originally tried to trade him, but with that 4-year, $44 million contract, not too many people were going to take on that contract with an aging veteran like him. Now, he's not anywhere near where he used to be a few years ago. He's had a few injuries and stuff, but he has had 38 tackles. He's still far better than Jalen Smith is at this moment. Now, it still would cost you a good chunk of change to bring him in here. However, you may want to kick the tires on that and see what you have with him. Clearly, with Sean Lee being injured, it's hurt our defense. It's clearly hurt that Hitchens was out. It hurt that we're bringing in an injured linebacker in Jalen Smith to try and play the middle. So from that standpoint, you got to say, what can we get with this guy? How much is it going to cost us? And can it help us get to where we want to be? And that's the big question that you have to ask. So hopefully they take a look, see if there's something there. We've had other people that guys have been interested in. Everybody keeps saying, we need to go for Revis. But I'm sorry, Revis, I don't think has much left. Cornerbacks, we have some guys that know our system that just basically need to stay healthy. The good news is Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis has actually been playing pretty damn good for a guy who didn't start the first game, who missed most of training camp. Jordan Lewis is actually moving up the charts as far as Rookie of the Year. They have him ranked, Pro Football Focus has him actually ranked as the sixth top rookie. Some publications have him ranked as high as 31st cornerback in the NFL. Pretty good for a guy that's only had 5 NFL games. So you want to keep him out there. I think they can help their secondary a lot by playing Xavier Lays the Wood a lot more. And less of Jeff Heath. Jeff Heath, I'm sorry, should not see the field anymore. Jeff Heath is not the guy. Jeff Heath is not an NFL safety. I have yet to see Jeff Heath make a tackle, really. I just don't even want to talk about Jeff Heath. So those 2 moves alone will help you. And the biggest thing they can do to help their secondary is the pass rush. The pass rush is key, as I always try and tell you guys. Pass rush is the biggest bang for the buck. If you can get to the quarterback, and we've done a great job so far. We've got 16 sacks. We're actually one of the top teams in sacks. With David Irving in there, he's actually playing the one technique. He's actually not being an outside rusher. With Stephen Payagon, they've got him actually playing in the middle. But you saw he had a pretty damn good push for being off for 4 games. He got 2 sacks. Love it. You got DeMarcus Lawrence outside. You got Tyrone Crawford, and you also have Collins. All of a sudden, you've got a good front. We're on pace for 50 sacks for the season. Now, when you think that we only had 36 last year and 29 the year before, that's a major improvement. And that will start getting you some turnovers because clearly, yes, I do, Jose, I do have more Joe Boo t-shirts and shot glasses. If you go right up here, you can go to my website and you can order one. I would love to send you guys one. Also, as well, I'll have some of those when we do the tailgate for the Redskin game in 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that I'm still working on figuring out exactly what we're going to do. Anybody who's interested in going to the game or meeting up for a tailgate, email me at cowboysmark94 at Gmail and let me know that you're interested because I want to definitely have plenty of food. Want to get some good old shots, get some rum and cigars, everything else, so we have a great time and show out for our Cowboys. But if we can get a pass rush and step it up a few more notches, we can be okay. Because think about this. As bad as our defense played, and Jalen Smith, I love him, man. I love his attitude. But the guy still has some more healing to do. He can't meet force with force. He can't get off blocks, and he can't cut and run with receivers. If we had Sean Lee those last 2 games, I guarantee you we would have won. Because Todd Gurley wouldn't have run in the middle the way he did. And the pass coverage in the middle wouldn't have been as bad without Sean Lee. Because Sean Lee is quick. He is great coming from that weak side. So we'll be better on our defense. And we don't have to be a lot better because our offense still scores. Now, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, Zeke Elliott. You are losing the number 4 leading rusher in the NFL. How do you make it without that guy? Well, I'm here to tell you that actually, this is actually the best thing right now. Although Zeke Elliott is the 4th leading rusher, here's the thing. Let me read something to you. Put it down on paper here because it's too far away and too long to look at. Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, LeGarrette Blount, Devin Cook, Carlos Hyde, LeVar Miller, C.J. Anderson, Jordan Howard, Devontae Freeman, DeMarco Murray, Alex Collins, Bilal Pale, I never even heard of him, Chris Parson, Tariq Calhoun, and Tevin Coleman. All those guys are all averaging more yards per carry than Zeke Elliott. Let me say again, all of those guys are averaging more yards per carry than Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott is only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. And if you take out that 4th quarter against Green Bay, it's more like 3.3 a carry. Not exactly lighting up the world. The reason why he's the 4th leading rusher in the NFL is He's got the second most carries, 105 carries. The only person that has more carries than him is Forsett at Jacksonville because they don't have a quarterback. So, yes, Zeke Elliott is going to be missed. However, 3.7 yards a carry is pedestrian in the NFL. He had 5.1 last year. We're talking about he was getting a yard and a half more per carry last year. How you doing, Sarah? It's always great to see you and Jackie here. Um, so when you're talking about those kind of numbers, it's not that much that you're missing. Zeke, if you're watching or any of you Cowboy fans, don't get mad at me. Don't. I'm not trying to stir up any trash, but clearly this situation has just been ugly. It's been bad, and I don't know how you can focus on football with this. I'm winning, I'm losing, I'm winning, I'm losing, I'm suspended, I'm not suspended. You can't focus on football. At this point, the NFLPA has filed another rehearing. Well, you're asking the guys who just said no to rehear it. It's an uphill battle. It's just delaying the inevitable. The NFL is like the mafia. You can pay me now, you're going to pay me later, but you damn sure are going to pay me. So at this point, Zeke, sit down. Get your head together. Get this thing done and over with so that way in 6 weeks, you can be ready to play football without distractions. Take this 6 weeks. Run on the treadmill. Run in the streets. Work your ass off. Drop about 5 or 10 pounds. And come back with an attitude ready to play. Because you're not the same back that we need from last year. Okay? That's my point. And if the season so happens to be going to shit, if the Green Bay and the Rams games are what we're going to be expecting all season long because we've got that first place schedule, because the NFL is out to get us with playing 2 teams back to back that have extra rest, where we're not going to get any breaks, where it's just going to be a bad season, and that happens in the NFL. Better to get your ass out now so you're ready for next year. Either way, sit down. Drop all of it. Just take it and get it over with. That's it in a nutshell. In the meantime, I think Darren McFadden, I think Alfred Morris, and I think Ron Smith can get us 3.7 yards carry. The other good thing, at least, or maybe it's a bad thing, I don't know, is this is Dak's team. Dak Prescott has been known that the only reason why he did good, of course, was because he had the best line in football. He had Zeke Elliott running crazy. He just had to show up. He's not a real quarterback. He just benefited from those guys in front of him. Well, guess what? Clearly, this offensive line isn't the best in football right now. Clearly, Zeke Elliott is not the best running back in football. Yet, Dak Prescott is on pace for 41 touchdowns. Best year Tony Romo ever had was 36. He had 19 interceptions in that year. That's not bad. So what our team has to do, Jason Garrett, what you have to do, or your offensive coordinator, is you have to adapt. You have to overcome. And you've got to change what you're doing. Because clearly what you've been doing with Zeke Elliott only getting 3.7 yards a carry, and you've run it 105 times, is you're still trying to do the exact same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get a different result. So you're going to have to change some things up a little bit. You're going to have different style running backs. You're going to have to use your quarterback more. You know he's deadly accurate rolling out on bootlegs. I believe, the best in the NFL. You're going to have to use more play action. You're going to have to move the pocket around. You're going to have to get, shall I say, creative and use the personnel that you have. Clearly, we don't have a maul and brawl offensive line right now. Tyron Smith is dealing with back issues. He's not throwing people around left and right like he has in past years. Collins is still getting used to playing the top pass rushers in the NFL at tackle. Chaz Green is what we thought he is. A guy who has a lot of promise but can't stay healthy, and he's always got nagging injuries. But there are other teams with far worse offensive lines that are doing better than what we're doing. And that, my friends, is coaching. And unfortunately, with Zeke Elliott getting the suspension, you all know what that means for Jason Garrett. Cowboys can go 4-12, and Jason Garrett will get a pass. That, my friends, may be the most tragic part of this whole situation. Now, what we have to hope for is Jason Garrett has an epiphany. If I didn't pronounce that right, forgive me. That Jason Garrett wakes up. That Jason Garrett grows a pair, and instead of being the guy who's up there just happy that I've got a job, that he starts saying, you know what, this is my team. I need to go out there and act like it. When something comes up, Jason Garrett basically says, oh, well, talk to Jerry Jones about the protests. Oh, you would hope that we could stop Aaron Rodgers down the stretch instead of saying, we messed up and we made some play calling. That was bad. We were bad with clock management. What I found out in my life, shit happens. It's nobody's fault. Sometimes shit just happens. You might get behind on a job, like I'm working on this bulkhead that you guys have been seeing I've been working on. You come up with a snag. You might cut a piece that's the wrong way, and then you got to go out and get more materials. And you're late on the project. And then instead of saying, you know what, I screwed up, I messed it up, you come up with another story or you find a reason. Oh, well, the plans weren't right. Oh, I had to go to a funeral. Oh, you come up with excuses for your failures instead of just saying, I screwed up. I messed up. Because what I found out is when you make excuses, most of the times people are like, yeah, right. But when you're honest, people forgive you. They understand. They're more sympathetic. And you, on the other hand, have a clear conscience and don't have to look over your shoulder. Oh, I see the Redskin trolls are here. We've got a Kirk Cousins. Oh, Lordy. I'm surprised we don't have more Eagle trolls, but then again, I guess they're feeling sorry for us. Well, Sarah, I agree with you. I think Dak is definitely going to do that for us. I said in the beginning of the year, 10-6. A lot of people are like, oh, we're going to go 14-2. I'm like, nah, we got a tough schedule. Team's going to be gunning for us. Shit's going to happen. It's not going to be as easy. We got a tougher schedule. I'm still going to stick with that 10-6. Now, here's what we have coming up. And here's what we need to do to make those playoffs. We got San Francisco next week. Okay. At San Francisco. Well, San Francisco, they're in that race with the Giants and Cleveland for that number one pick. If we can't beat the 49ers, then we don't deserve to even think about playoffs. So we should go out and win that game. We come to the Washington Redskins, the team that's now trolling us right now, and we face them. You get a win there. All of a sudden, You're 4-3. Things are beginning to look up then. Then you're not so bad. You got Kansas City. Well, Kansas City's been pretty hot. Kansas City will be a tough game. That's one of those ones that I don't know if you can win it or not. But if your defense can turn it around just a little bit, get a few more stops. Kansas City's not a high-powered, high-scoring offense. But if you can get a few sacks on Alex Smith, who's been playing lights out, he's due to kind of have a little bit of a turn, you might have a chance because you are playing home. You're not playing an Arrowhead. Then you play the Falcons. And the Falcons, I still don't believe the Falcons are as good as advertised. That defense, you can score on, especially in the fourth quarter. So I'm not saying that they can't win that one. It'll be a road game. It'll be a tough game. But they got a chance at it if the defense can play better, getting Sean Lee back, getting David Irving in the mix, getting Jordan Lewis a little more experience, getting Xavier Wooden out there instead of Jeff Heath, and get a little bit of an attitude. They can do better than what they're doing. They can't do worse. Then all of a sudden, the big game on the list. The game we need to circle. The Philadelphia Eagles at home. The Eagles started out hot last year. They've been playing great. I will give you that. Eagles fans, Carson Wentz took some hits, delivered the ball. Carolina didn't exactly do a whole lot with as many drop passes they had and 3 interceptions by Cam Newton. You guys got a win that maybe you shouldn't have, although you guys had a lot of penalties. But I'm going to tell you, you guys have to stop letting Carson Wentz take as much abuse as he's taken, because if you don't, you may not have him for the whole season. He is getting hit left and right. So you never know. But that game is going to be key for our season. That game right there gives us a chance to all of a sudden jump right back into the NFC race. Then you've got the Chargers on Thanksgiving. Great. That should be another one. So you can see going 4-2 without Zeke Elliott. It's possible. I don't think you're going to necessarily win Kansas City and Atlanta, but you could win one of those. I think you should be able to win San Francisco, Washington, the Chargers. And, here's the thing. If you beat San Francisco, you beat Washington, you beat the Chargers. You just need to beat one of the other ones. Kansas City, Atlanta, or the Eagles. Odds are you can win one of those. Okay? All of a sudden, 4-2, we're looking a lot better. Then you get Zeke Elliott back. By this time, hopefully Zeke Elliott is in shape and is hungry and ready to eat. Starve the brother so he lose some weight. You got the Redskins again. At home. You got the New York stinking Giants who already have their golf clubs out. I don't think Eli Manning is going to survive past this weekend. Von Miller may get the NFL sack record on Sunday of 7 in one game. I think Eli Manning will be plastered to the field. Honestly. They should have a mercy rule because I think that game Sunday night is going to be ugly. No wide receivers. No offensive line. No running backs. It's freaking Eli Manning out there butt naked. You should be able to do that one. Then you play the Raiders. Derek Carr has become the new Tony Romo with the injuries. And the Oakland Raiders have been a disappointment. And then, of course, you got Seattle at home, who always play well at the end of the season. That'll be a tough one. And then you play at Philly, which may be the last game of the season, may be win and get in, or be playing for something. Not impossible. It's doable. We probably need to go 8-3, but it's possible. It may not be the division, but you can see a wild card. You got the Lions, of course, who've been playing well. Matthew Stafford's kind of beat up. You got the Minnesota Vikings that are playing well, 3-2. They don't really have a quarterback. Sam Bradford can't stay healthy. You got the Rams right now who are playing well, but do you think the Rams are really going to be staying that well all season? You got Atlanta and Carolina. Carolina, all they got is Cam, and Cam is taking a beating. I don't know that Cam's going to be able to make it through the season. He's got no running game. Their best linebacker, who's been out for extended periods of time, Kuechly, is in a concussion protocol again. You may not have him for quite a few weeks. That hurts that team. And you got Atlanta. So it's doable. It is definitely doable. So that's my points for tonight. Let me see what all your comments are. I'm sorry I've been rambling on here. Just so much has been going on. Dak is 2-0 against the Shitskins. You know the amazing thing? Oh, thank you very much. Ricky Lee. Well, Ricky Lee, yeah. I'm going to have to drink on that comment. That is a big if, Ricky Lee. Shout out to you for the super chat. If Jason Garrett doesn't get out coached again. Jason Garrett, I don't even know what to say. That's a big if. Yeah, we got to coach better. We have refocus or recommit every day or whatever it was. We need to have a new shirt. Maybe we ought to make a Jobu shirt. We'll put Jobu on the front, and on the back we'll say, and coach better. Don't outcoach yourself. Because more times than not, I swear, our coaches have found ways to lose games instead of win them. Yeah, hey, Christian, great point. The Redskins have lost Josh Norman. He's going to be out probably for about another 3 or 4 weeks, so he definitely probably won't be there. Won't refill me up. Okay. The funny thing is, but a Boomer Sooner, it seems like every one of these games at FedEx Fields goes down to the wire. I've been at the last 3. Last year, you may remember, or maybe you guys don't remember, the Redskins were up and about to take a 2-score lead late into the 4th quarter, and were down there on the end zone, and Kirk Cousins threw an interception in the end zone. Dak Prescott drove us all the way the length of the field. Boom. Alfred Morris ran in, got the touchdown. That's how we beat the Washington Redskins last year. The year before, the year without Tony Romo, it was basically just field goals. And had it not been for Deshaun Jackson catching a punt, running backwards about 10 yards, and fumbling the ball on the 6-yard line where we kicked a field goal to win, we would have lost that game. So those games, no matter what the records are, because we were 1-15 with the only win being against the Washington Redskins that were a playoff team. They're always tough, and they always go down the wire, but I have faith in our Cowboys. I'll be there with Joe Boo. I'm hoping that a lot of you guys will be there with us, and we will be cheering on. You will see a sea of blue at FedEx Field. So, yeah, you got to look at that Redskin game and say, yeah, we've got our opportunities and our chances with that team, especially if Alfred Morris is playing, because Alfred Morris will definitely want to show up and show off against the Washington Redskins. Eagles fans equal pure. Okay. Last thing. Okay. All right. Well, I'll leave that one alone. Cold milk. Here's the thing. You are 100% right. We have to tackle somebody in order, to win. I agree. But we didn't have our best gun out there in Sean Lee. Sean Lee is a sure tackler. Sean Lee is the engine that drives that defense. And here's what you have to understand about that defense, or most defenses. It's not the defensive line is there to make the tackles. They're going to make some tackles. But what they're designed to do is to tie up the offensive linemen, and it's the linebackers that read the flow and go to fill in the holes and meet the running backs. And we unfortunately, without Sean Lee, with Hitchens being gone until this past week, have not had that. Jalen Smith, again, proud of the guy that he has been able to get out on the field and play on one leg. But we've been asking him to play on one leg and be the general out there of the field and run the defense as basically a rookie. We put him in an impossible task because we had no choice. We had nobody else to do it. He did admirable. However, he didn't do enough for what you need for that defense. With Sean Lee there, he helped to cover up some of those deficits. With him gone, it just didn't work. So getting Sean Lee back, hopefully 100%, will definitely help us. That defense will be markedly better than they were before. And you'll remember, against the Giants and the Cardinals, the defense actually played pretty well. It was just the last two games that they didn't do too much against, okay? And again, it was without Sean Lee. So don't give up on the defense just yet. Sean Lee will help. That pass rush will help. We will get better. I haven't heard any updates on Collins yet. Right now, the team basically is off until Monday anyway. So when is a good question on Sandman with Awuzie? Awuzie, unfortunately, with a hamstring, it's one of those things that once you've aggravated, it's really easy to aggravate it again, and you really have to let it heal. And they've been trying to force him out there to, get him on the field because we need him on the field. But that hamstring has just not been right, and every time he goes back out there, he ends up hurting it again. So hopefully he'll be back at practice next week. He was at practice this week for a couple of days. We'll see if he's going to be able to be a full go. The key, I believe, is in the starting lineup will be Sandrick. Will be out there, of course. Of course, we'll have Byron Jones at safety. I'm hoping that they start Woods with this extra practice time, that Woods is the other safety out there. And we'll definitely have Jordan Lewis as well as Anthony Brown will be the 5 D-backs that we're going to be using for the most part. Awuzie, he's kind of the wild card because we don't know how well and how long he's going to be able to play. And again, part of the problem is he just has not had a lot of practice time. And with the NFL, thank you, Sven. Sven is on here from Germany, and it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning there. I appreciate you being here, and yeah, we're definitely still growing. It's amazing with the Cowboys being so bad right now that it is still growing. But hey, I guess misery loves company. Shout out to you in Germany, and shout out to everybody around the world as well in the United States here. Awuzie has been dealing with that hamstring. Now, here's the problem. Because of the collective bargaining agreement. Basically, you had veterans that went through and decided, you know what? We hit too much of practice. We don't want to get tackling on the ground, which is part of the reason why tackling sucks. After the season starts, do you guys realize there's only 11 padded practices for the rest of the season? 11. And you have to be done with all 11 of those practices by week 11. So the reality is you're not learning a whole lot as far as technique when you get to training camp. You're not learning it during the season. So if you didn't practice in training camp, you're not getting a whole lot of repetitions and stuff on the field in practice during the season. So basically what you got come day one of the season is what you're going to have throughout the season. So Awuzie missed a lot of training camp, and now he's missed the early part of the season. He's not going to get a whole lot of practices, so he's not going to necessarily get that much better. So unfortunately, it's kind of a lost season there. Benjamin, you are 100% right. Sean Lee is definitely our best asset. I mean, last year he was second in the NFL in tackles. He is the engine that drives that defense. Amen to you, Jackie, and shout out. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. No matter what, I will be here. When they lose, I'm here right after it. And when, the Eagles First thing I did was I congratulated them on a great win last night and admitted that right now, they're the best team in the division. And with that said, I'm going to take a little break here, a little piece I want to show you guys. I'm very fortunate to have done a lot of great things. I do a lot of work with United Way as a volunteer and things. And I told you guys about a sweepstakes that they were doing for the draft. I told you guys, go ahead, do that little $10 donation and stuff, and it was your opportunity to win a dream trip to the draft. We're talking the NFL ended up paying for the flights, played for the room, they paid for it all, everything experience. Okay, they had autograph signings with at a casino with like Lawrence Taylor and everything else. They had front row tickets to the draft. That people even got to call out a player on the third day of the draft. And I told you guys, I said, guys, do this thing, sign up for this thing. I want to spend the draft with you guys. Unfortunately, not too many of you guys listen. I'm going to even tell you that a lot of times you see these sweepstakes and things. The mentality of most people is, I'm not going to win. Nobody ever wins these things. Somebody else will get it. I'm here to tell you that not that many people sign up for them. Don't tell people that I told you that. I personally know about a Super Bowl contest years ago that had 3 people, 3 enter, and they gave away 2 packages. True story. So let me show you guys about this one that the United Way is doing with the NFL for the ultimate Super Bowl experience. Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. Now, guys, here's an opportunity to win the ultimate Super Bowl package with Prizio, United Way, and the NFL. Now, I got to tell you guys, this is like the dream trip of a lifetime. We're talking about airfare to get you to Minnesota, as well as 2 club level seats. Now, if that wasn't enough, we're talking about tickets to the NFL PA party. And I'm talking about players galore. DeMar Smith knows how to party. Believe me, I've been there and seen it.
Trying to do there is you're trying to get stops on defense, and
I think I kind of messed that up there, but anyway, you get the gist of it. If you guys go to my Jobu website here, sorry, it's always backwards for me. You guys can enter this thing. You've got until December to do it, and I'm telling you, do it. It's for a good cause and the opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. We're talking about the trip of a lifetime. Club seats at the Super Bowl. And I got to tell you, I've never had club seats at the Super Bowl. I've been up like in the nosebleed, but it doesn't matter because you're at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl city, everywhere you go, might be only 80 or 90,000 tickets to the games, but there's about 300 or 400,000 people there having just the biggest parties you will imagine. It's just a thing that you have to experience. It's a bucket list thing. And I got to tell you, the package that they're giving away is something you just can't buy. But hey, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. Sean Taylor. So we've got an issue with a gentleman named Sean Taylor. So, okay. Unfortunately, it's hard to keep up with all of the comments and so forth talking because you guys know I am a one-man show here. And one of the things I try not to do is I don't really like to block people per se. I like people to have a free voice, but here's the thing. If you go after people in here, and I like to think that this channel is different than most YouTube channels. I like to think that, you don't necessarily have to be a Dallas Cowboy fan here to be on here and to be able to have an interesting conversation, that this is a safe place. There is just too much ugliness and trash talking that's going on in the world here, where it's basically F you if you're not agreeing with me. And I don't want this to be this channel, especially since we have some wonderful, lovely ladies that are coming in here. And I hope I don't get it taken the wrong way or anything. But guys, don't scare off the women, please. Please. They definitely dress up the man cave. So if somebody is kind of going a little overboard, by all means, please let me know, and hopefully they can at least act like adults. I think more times than not, it's just a bunch of kids that are looking for attention. Trey, I agree with you 100% that we definitely have the best quarterback in the division. Kirk Cousins has actually been playing pretty well. Actually, Wentz has played pretty well too, and Wentz actually, I think, is actually playing better than Kirk Cousins. Eli, not so much. So yeah, I feel we definitely have the best quarterback. I mean, he's on pace for 41 touchdowns. I mean, how much more can he do? Um, throw up the X, okay. Stop white knighting from. Okay, all right. Um, we've got plenty of Eagle fans in here tonight. Wow. Um, do me a favor, Eagle fans. Listen, you're welcome to come on the show. You're welcome to be here, but keep it clean. That's all I ask you. You can trash talk me. You can tell me that my team has been playing like garbage because they have been playing like garbage and all that, but keep it clean, please. That's all I ask because I do not like to ban people, but if you're going to be in here just effing this, that, and the other, I don't want you here. There's plenty of other places you can go do that. Sandman, I don't know that Jerry Jones's comments have divided the locker room against themselves. I would dare say that it's more of divided them from Jerry Jones per se. I think a lot of them are kind of like, Jerry, you're the one that's doing this. I don't think it's the players against the players, and I think it may be the players end up banding together because, when you have guys like Jason Witten that empathize and sympathize and understand what the problem is, they're not going to say, oh, forget you. I think it's more so that they're going to be ticked off at their owner. When you saw the interview with Orlando Scandrick, you could see that he was emotional. I tried to explain to you guys when we start looking at how the NFL is treating Zeke Elliott. And again, it's one of those things that, for me, it hurts. If you watch Shango the night after the Cowboys all knelt, and he talks about his experience where he had a landlord who spit in his wife's face, and he wanted to beat the crap out of him. But see, as a black man, you touch a white person, your ass going to jail. If you're lucky, if you don't get shot. And I'm not saying this stuff to be dramatic or anything else to evoke a response. I am letting you know what a real reality is. But the way that Zeke Elliott is being treated, when you look at the evidence that there really isn't, when you know that it's not going to a court to be heard by a jury of his peers, that there's nothing he can do or say, even though there's witnesses that say that he didn't do this, and it's not being heard, it's kind of like a modern day lynching. And unfortunately, whether you want to believe it or not, and if you haven't been on the other side, you don't understand. I'm old enough to know I was the first class that was integrated. My brothers and sisters had to go to a black-only school because it wasn't legal to mix. Let that sink in. I'm old, but I'm not that old. My uncle fell out of a tree, busted his head open. My mother and her sisters carried him for 4 miles to the doctor's house with his head busted open and bleeding. Knocked on the door and said, help us. The doctor said, you can't be at this front door. Carry his ass to the back. Let that sink in for a moment and understand that. It's not about hating this country. And like I said about football, I'm mad as hell at the NFL for doing what they're doing to Zeke Elliott. I think it's completely unfair. When you saw Josh Brown, who beat the hell out of his wife verbally and physically and put it in a diary, got convicted, but yet the NFL gave him 1 game. But here it is, Zeke Elliott, there is more than a shadow of a doubt, but they're saying, You're getting 6 games. And they're hell bent about making sure it's done right now. You can't say that that's justice. But that's the reality that people face every day. I got to tell my son, we've been pulled over by police for doing absolutely nothing and held at gunpoint, where I didn't know if me and my son were going to make it home at night. That's a true story. I remember a comedian once said that he got pulled over with a white person in his car. He said, if you ever want to make sure that you don't have anything happen with you, have a white person in the car. I know every time that I've ever been pulled over, I've always gotten a ticket. And I had a guy who was a white guy with me. I accidentally ran through a stop sign because I didn't see it in Arlington. Whoop, here's the police cars. They're flying. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to get a ticket. I had my buddy in the car here. Police officer said, you ran through the light. And look and saw my buddy over there. That was a white guy. He said, why'd you go through the light? I said, honest, officer, I missed it. He said, okay, well, be careful next time. Didn't even ask him my license stuff, walked away. And I was kind of like, what the heck? Now, the funny thing is this guy worked for me, and I was taking him back to Fairfax County Jail because he was on work release because he was convicted of selling drugs and was a gangbanger. And I was helping him out because his father was a friend of mine. Let that sink in for a minute. And that's a true story. So, I don't know where all this stuff goes. I think that the NFL needs to come up with something. And what I said was have the players stand or have the players go back to being in the locker room like we used to before they got paid to have them out there standing up before the games. But instead of just doing lip service, do things that will actually make a difference. Do outreach programs. Spend time going to communities. Work with the police departments and helping make a difference in people's lives. Because in the end, that's what a protest is supposed to be about. It's about bringing people's attention to something that's not right. Again, I know I've got a lot of people that just say, oh, you're just disrespecting the flag. You know what? You could say I'm disrespecting the NFL because I don't like what they did doing to Zeke Elliott. I love the NFL. I love football. Football is ingrained in my soul. I literally gain weight football season because my body knows it's time to play football. That's how big a part football is in my life. I love it to death. But I don't like this shit. I don't like this bullshit that they're doing to Zeke. And I feel we need to do something about it. And that, my friends, is the whole anthem protest in a nutshell. So, hate me if you want to hate me. It is what it is. But I'm trying to speak the truth. And I'm trying to educate you guys to understand what is going on as opposed to saying it's about hating the flag. Nobody hates the flag. Nobody hates the military. Jaywan, I'm not. Who's making an excuse about our defense? But here's what's so funny. Okay, you Eagle fans that are right now pounding your chest. This is deja vu because you guys last year, the first quarter of the season, were pounding that chest, talking about how good Carson Wentz was and how good your team is, and this is going to be the year you get a ring, but ended up in the basement. So be careful when you start touting about how good your team is, because this is the NFL, which stands for not for long. Because teams can change their fortune in a week. A team that looks like unbeatable now looks like hot garbage the next. And that, my friends, could be you. Because I remember in 2014, you Eagles kicking the crap out of my Dallas Cowboys and literally having the division won. I believe you only need to win like 1 or 2 games, but somehow, some way, you guys didn't win the division. How is it that happened when you had a lock on the situation? Sure, you guys are 5-1. Congratulations. But it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's a war of attrition. And buddy, it ain't over until it's over. And there's a long ways to go. I know this. Your team has been dropping players like flies. They've adjusted real well, but you can only keep losing players for so long. We'll see what we're going to see. And I wouldn't pound your chest too much too soon. Ask the Giants about that. Because they were pounding their chest when everybody was talking about them being an odds-on Super Bowl favorite. Yeah, we're the team to beat the Dallas Cowboys twice last year. We're a playoff team. We got the best player who should be paid more than anybody else in Odell Beckham, who, by the way, lets you know that the Justin Bieber curse is real. You know, the Giants haven't won a game since he went down to Miami and hung out with Justin Bieber. I'm just saying. So, Eagles, don't count it just yet. Don't count it just yet. Cowboys gamer, I agree with you. Dak is on pace for 42 touchdowns. He's definitely going to have to take it up another notch for the team, but I feel like he can do that. When you look at the teams that are on the schedule, so we go back to let's go back to the schedule here. When you look at some of the teams that we played, you know, we've played some really good defensive teams, and we didn't get a lot out of our running game, so to speak, from Zeke Elliott. So all of a sudden, San Francisco, their defense isn't that great. Washington, their defense isn't that great. Kansas City, that's a different story. Atlanta, not so much. The Chargers, not so much. Philadelphia right now is playing really well defensively, but I got to tell you, as many passes that were dropped by Carolina last night. Now, don't get me wrong; they had a hellacious rush on Cam, but their running backs could not run the ball whatsoever. That literally was just Cam Newton all by his damn self. He did everything he could to try and win. Give Joe Boo another. He's got a shot right now. He's good. I might steal it from him. Who gives a fuck about passer rating? Okay. Philly does have a great defense, but hey, we'll see what we're going to see. They have a great defense right now, but you don't know what's going to happen down the road. Yeah, Cowboy Gamer. Yeah, here's the thing. You know, as bad as we looked those last two games, we still had opportunities. A play here and a play there is all the difference between winning and losing. Well, you know, we've seen Terrence Newman have a few brain farts and has let us down. That interception kind of hurt a lot last week. And, you know, he's dropped quite a few. We've had quite a few drops all the way around. It's one of those things that we definitely have to get better at. Washington defense is not that bad, but they lost Josh Norman, and that's going to hurt them a lot. And they've actually lost quite a few players on that defense. Jack, I think everybody needs to work on practicing catching the ball except for Jason Witten. Whereas Taco, unfortunately, is buried down the list because everybody else has been playing that much better on the defense, and he still has a ways to go. A lot of people are saying Taco's a bust. I say give him some time. I say give him some time. He's still a rookie. He's got a lot to learn. Cold melt, you hit it. I couldn't have said it any better. Also, put on that as far as Switzer having that fumble punt and T. Will having that deflected ball, put on that playing two teams with extra rest. We flat out just ran out of gas. Jack, we definitely need Sean Lee back. Jack, our defense will be better. Trust me. Aisha start Bryce. I like that. Okay. Anthony, another one. Like I said, we've been playing good defenses. The Cardinals' defense is a good defense. Without a doubt, Denver's the best defense in the NFL, and they're going to show you that against the Giants. on Sunday night. So when you start putting that, the Rams, look how many number one picks they've got on that defense. It's not like we were playing the Cleveland Browns and getting our lunch handed to it. We've been playing good defenses and yet still scoring points. Bowman, I would love to sign. Revis, no. Camardi, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to get traded. They're going to hold on to him. At Benjamin, you stupid, laugh out loud. Okay, I missed that. Taco needs to be seasoned. Yeah, Benjamin, you are stupid, laugh out loud. Um, okay, I see, J Watt. I see you. You Eagle fans are talking right now. Do me one favor here. Talk as much as you want to talk, but do me a favor, Eagle fans. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. Because Giant fans, very few of them would man up after going and talking trash all off season. They're nowhere to be found. So if you're going to come in here now when things are good, make sure you come in here when things go south. I'm here right now after one of the worst weeks that I can remember being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm still here talking about my team. So if your team goes south, be sure that you come in just as strong when they do. Trade T. Will the Giants for a draft. Man, I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy, Michael. Trade somebody to the Giants? Come on, man. It's getting ugly. When you're talking about you're suspending one of your best corners who came in and basically just doesn't even want to practice, it's getting ugly. No, Tommy didn't call me tonight. He's actually being kind. Well, Ronaldo, here's the thing. Who the hell in Dallas has been staying healthy when you start talking about Bowman? Seriously. We got that kind of problem already. Desperate Cowboy fans. I'm going to remember J. Wadd. Eagles are no Super Bowl team. I like that. Okay. I don't know if the Cowboys will take a chance on Bowman or not. I think it's worth taking a look at him. My honest, non-biased opinion of Wentz. Wentz is playing really well right now. He actually made some throws that I was surprised of. He's been fantastic on third down, which is the money down. I can't say that he's a bum. I can't say that. And he definitely takes a hit and keeps getting up. Well, Rico Gathers has actually been back at the facilities. He's actually eligible to start practicing next week and eligible to play in 2 weeks. Good night, Jackie. Thank you as always for joining. You always brighten the place up. And I can't believe it's amazing to me how fast an hour goes with you guys. I mean, literally, it flies by. So, J Watt, why is it you got to tell people that you're a dude? Do you have feminine tendencies and people question it? Now, J Watt, before you go on with the whole elite bit, remember, you guys, some of the teams you played, the Redskins, the Chargers, the Giants. Come on, man. Let's get a whole season underneath there before you tout him as the next Joe Montana. X Factor, amen. I agree with you. They're definitely jinxing themselves. They're going to end up having a foot in their mouth. I'll see you Monday on Cold Milk. Thanks for joining us. Good night, Sarah and Sergeant Pete. Dallas Girl, thanks for being here. Wow, I like that, Thomas. Would I hire Ben McAdoo or the Snort? Oh, come on, man. Come on, Cleveland. Why would I hire either of those two idiots? Thank you, Daniel. Well, it's 10 o'clock, guys. Tomorrow I've got to get up early and go back down the country and do some work on some of these houses I've got down there. Um, I've got a new tenant that's getting ready to move in, and I need to get that squared away. So I'm going to go up here, spend some time with my beautiful wife, and get ready to go to bed. As always, the time is too short with you guys. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate being able to vent my frustrations and stuff and get it off my chest. There are better days for our Dallas Cowboys. This has been a dark, dark week, but sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before things will get better. And right now, we have hit rock bottom, and we've got no place else to go but up. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, even you trolls that are out there. Be safe this weekend. Have a good time. And we can kick back and watch the Giants get planted on Sunday, as well as the Washington Redskins. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo. And thank you for being here.